Good morning, everyone. Before I start with my presentation, I want you to welcome with the quotation by John Piaget. My theory of development, which is particularly concerned with the development of cognitive functions, is impossible to understand if one does not begin by analyzing in detail the biological presuppositions from which it stems and the epistemological consequences on which it ends. Once again, good morning. What is Piaget's theory of cognitive development? According to Piaget, changes in thinking are a result of developmental processes that occur naturally as our brains develop. All children, he said, go through the 4 stages. But before we go to the presentation of the 4 stages, let us have an overview about John Piaget. Who is John Piaget? He developed the cognitive theories 1896 to 1980. He finished his PhD in zoology from University of Neuchâtel in 1918. His achievements are the Erasmus Prize in 1972 and the Wilson Prize in 1978. What are the stages of cognitive development? Today, I am going to present to you the 4 stages of cognitive development. Stage 1. The sensory motor stage from birth to age of 2. So during this stage, the child begins to develop reflexes, habits, hand-eye coordination, object permanence, experimentation, and creativity. Piaget referred to the children in this age as little scientists, the trial and error experiment. So what are the sensory motor activities? So in the later steps of this stage, a child learns by a trial and error. So therefore, providing a rich stimulating activities like rattles, blocks, and etc. is helpful. Or peekaboo is also a helpful learning game in this stage. Stage 2 of cognitive development theory, ages 2 to 7. During this stage, the child begins to develop ability to represent objects with images and words, language skills, and imagination. Children learn through imitation and play during this stage. They begin to use reasoning. However, it is mainly intuitive instead of logical. Enter this stage, toddler and early childhood. The teacher should use illustrative visual aids to help the children understand presentations, physical props, illustrations, and artwork. The students have difficulty seeing the world from another perspective other than their own. So avoid lessons about worlds very different from the child's. Children need physical, hands-on practice with facts and skills needed for development. Use cut-out letters to build words. Do not use workbooks or paper pencil activities very often. Encourage hands-on activities with physical objects that change shape. This moves the child toward understanding conservation and two-way logic. Have the students play with clay, water, sand, or Play-Doh. Talk with the students about what they are experiencing as they play with these objects. The 3rd stage is the concrete operational stage, ages 7 to 11. During this stage, the child begins to develop the fundamentals of logic, ability to sort objects, ability to classify objects, and understanding of the conservation. The physical quantities do not change based on the arrangement and or the appearance of the objects. So during the middle adulthood, the teacher should continue using visual aids and hands-on activities. So give timelines for history lessons or use the 3D models when teaching science. Give students also the opportunities to manipulate objects and test out ideas. Do simple science experiments. Letting the students participate show craft work to help students understand the occupation from earlier periods. So students should not deal with more than 3 or 4 variables at a time. Reading selection should have a limited number of characters. Experiments should have limited number of steps. Stage 4 of cognitive development theory was all about the formal operational stage, ages 11 to adulthood. During this stage, the child begins to develop ability to hypothesize, test, and re-evaluate hypotheses. Children begin thinking in a formal and systematic way. So the adolescence to adulthood stage, you should continue using the teaching strategies in stage 3. Use visual aids like charts and illustrations, but also incorporate a few more sophisticated graphs and diagrams. Give a step-by-step explanations and materials. To summarize the 4 stages of cognitive development theory, first stage of child's mental development, which mainly involves sensation and motor skills. Second stage, children use their mental ability to represent events and objects in various ways, but logical reasoning are not yet organized or developed. Third stage is the child becomes more stable, think operationally, and use logical reasoning rather than intuitive thought. And the fourth stage, children become more systematic and reasonable, and they cannot only reason of tangible objects and events, but also they possess capability of reasoning and thinking in more abstract, hypothetical, and idealistic ones. Keep in mind that children don't always move from one stage to another at the same time. They will always move from one stage to the next in the same order. Thank you for watching, and I hope you've learned about the John Piaget's cognitive theory of development. Once again, good morning.